A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject Business Studies. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the merits and demerits of the joint stock company. In the merits, we have discussed about the limited liability, transferability of shares on the easy terms, perpetual existence, which means a very long life, more chances of growth and expansion due to larger amount of financial resources, efficient management by the professional experts, and large amount of capital can be collected through joint stock company on the easy terms. Along with the merits, we have discussed about the demerits such as complexity in the formation due to too much paperwork, legal formalities and permissions are to be needed. The next was lack of secrecy, as most of the information is to be published, so it becomes very difficult to keep the affairs of the company secret. Next, impersonal work environment. All those who used to manage and regulate the joint stock company are the merely the workers. They used to get the salary in return. So there is no direct incentive what they are doing and what they are getting. Next, numerous regulations. It is not so that the regulations are to be or the paperwork is to be done only at the time of formation. It is to be done on the recurring nature after the every time period interval. The next was delay in decisions. All the important decisions are taken in the board of directors meeting or after consulting the members. So it is a time taking process, and even if the decision is taken timely, so it is to be initially communicated to all the related persons. Oligarchic management. The management is in the few hands, and that is the directors. And the last one, conflicts in the interest of the different related parties. Today we are going to discuss about the types of companies. So let's get started. There are three type of companies: private limited company, public limited company and one person company. If we talk about the private limited company, so it is created as per the section 268 of Indian Companies Act 2013, and which is a private limited company. It is having some norms. The very first, restricted the right to transfer its shares. A company which cannot transfer its shares on the easy terms. Second, which has minimum 2 and maximum 200 members. So the number of members is also limited, minimum 2 and maximum only 200, excluding the employees. Employees are not included in the members. Members are somewhat owners, and employees are somewhat workers. And the third and last, prohibits any invitation to the public to subscribe for any securities of the company. And this type of company cannot invite the general public for the securities or any type of financial bonds and something. Now the next one is the public limited company. So it is a particular company which is not a private company. That means which is having the following points. First, has minimum 7 members and maximum no limit. For minimum there are 7 and maximum there is no limit for there. And has no restriction on the transfer of securities. The securities or the shares can be transferred on very easy terms without any rules and regulation, without any obstacles. And the next one, not prohibited to invite the general public to subscribe its security. That means it can invite the general public for the subscription of the securities. Now if we talk about the public company, then it is also of two type. The very first is the company limited by guarantee. It means a company having the liability of its member limited by the memorandum to such amount as the members may respectively undertake to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of its being wound up. So it is limited by the certain amount by the each member. And the other one is the company limited by shares. So it refers to a company having the liability of its member limited by memorandum. Later on we are going to study about the memorandum of association and memorandum of article. So memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid, only unpaid, on the shares respectively held by them. So these are the two types: company limited by guarantee and company limited by shares. Now see further, a note is here: a private company which is subsidiary of public company. Subsidiary means होता है subordinate or small branch. A private company which is subsidiary of a public company will also treated as a public company. Now the third type of company is the one person company, also known as OPC, and this concept is introduced in 2013 as per section 3(1) of 2013 Act. The OPC, one person company, is being introduced. And what are the different requirement of one person company? Rule 3(1) provides that only a natural person, natural that means real person, who is an Indian citizen, the person must be Indian citizen and a resident of India also, shall be eligible to incorporate one person company. So the person who is the resident and citizen of India can conclude or eligible to incorporate the one person company. See further, 2 points are here. No person shall be eligible to incorporate more than one OPC. Only one person can start one person company only, and not even the nominee as well. Second point देखिए, the one person company to compulsorily convert itself into the public or private company in some certain cases. There are some certain cases when it become compulsory for the one person company to convert itself either in the private company or in the public company. And what are the conditions? Where the paid up share capital of a person company exceeds 50 lakh, where the paid up capital is becoming more than 50 lakh there, or if the annual turnover during the relevant period exceeds 2 crore rupees. In that condition, in both these conditions, the one person company have to be converted either into the private company or into the public company. Now see the next topic: benefits of private company over the public company. What are the benefit of the private company in comparison to the public company? The very first, a private company can be formed only with 2 members, whereas for the public company minimum 7 members are needed. See the second point, a private company must have at least 2 directors, whereas the number of directors for the public company are 3. The next, it is not compulsory for a private company to maintain an index of its members, that means all record of its member on the legal basis, whereas if we talk about the public company, then it is compulsory. Next point, a private company can issue loans to its director without the prior permission of the government. If you talk about the private company, then it can issue loans to its members, its directors. But if we talk about the public company, then initially it have to take permission from the government, and then only it can provide loans to its directors. The next one, it is not compulsory for a private company to hold the statutory meeting, that is an annual meeting. But if we talk about the public company, it is compulsory to hold the statutory meeting. And the last one, it is not necessary for a private company to issue a prospectus. It is not compulsory. But if we talk about the public company, then it is compulsory to issue the prospectus, because they are inviting the common public. And invitation and prospectus is a sort of invitation to the common public for the securities, financial securities. So this is all about today. Today we have discussed about the different types of company. Private company, its points we have discussed. Public company, its 2 types we have discussed. And thereafter one person company and its related points we have discussed. And the last, that is the privileges or benefits of private company over public company. This is all about today. God bless you all.